Lord Kablamo, who disliked it? Nobody! They just missed the like button. Ever considered going up to Scotland for Nerf Wars? In fact, yes. Yes, I have. I'm good friends with Foam Dart Thunder, and one day, I'm going to get up to Scotland for a Nerf War. And some more deep-fried battered haggis, with Edinburgh chippy sauce. Good question, Iron Paul. William K. Why do you use duct tape? Duct tape is one of the most versatile, useful materials on the face of this planet. It's one of those things you should always have on you because you can do almost anything with it. It holds everything together. Physicists always say that half of the matter in the universe is missing. It's because they haven't learned to measure quantum duct tape yet. Baby Hooligan asks, where is the best place to buy cheap Nerf guns? Honestly, eBay, Job Lots and Gumtree every time. In the States, you've got Craigslist and thrift stores. We don't get Nerf guns that much in charity shops here, but have a look anyway. The first Nerf gun I bought involved buying a job lot from Gumtree, keeping what I wanted, and selling the rest. Just gotta think smart. Joshy washy, why don't you use lipos? 2S lipos work in stock motors and switches. Yes, they do, Joshy washy, but the truth is, I'm kind of pushed for time, so I quite like the 14500 size IMRs. Although I'm sure I'll become converted to lipos one day. I'm also going to review some interesting lithium polymer 14500 size batteries shortly, and I'll let you know what they're like. What is your favourite Jolt ever? I've got 3 favourite Jolts ever, and they are Mrs. Jolt, Little Joltlet, and Little Joltlet Mark II. He's gorgeous. Pamela Martin asks, hey Jolt, when are you going to make a Dart Zone gun review? Dart Zone have been pumping out some pretty cool blasters, so maybe it won't be far off. Maglev Pie, 42, yes or no? Definitely. Dano16, how long has Grim Up Nerf near Leeds been running? And what are its plans for the future? Really funny video, by the way. Grim Up Nerf has been running for almost 2 years now. It started back in February or March last year. And the plans for the future are to keep on nerfing. In all seriousness, there's no event in January, but we're back again in February. Keep an eye out on the Facebook page. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for further details. I will tell you one thing about Grim Up Nerf though. We've been seeing more and more rival blasters each and every month. Plus we keep on doing everything we can to ensure a fun, smoothly running, enjoyable event. And at £1 donation for 3 hours of nerfing per person, you can't go wrong. Why so cheap? Well, we get to use our venue for free. It's often a Latter-day Saint chapel. Brilliant venue. Oh look! It's a Nerf Rival Hera in the stock. The appeal to me of the Strong Arm, Hammer Shot and Super Stripes or Angel Fire type blasters is that they pack a decent punch for their size. Whilst Rival have got some pretty funky blasters such as the Nemesis, my current favourite the Artemis, and possibly hot on its heels the Helios, it doesn't yet have a decent pistol-sized blaster, unless you chop down a Hera. And I'm dead excited about the Kronos, because it could change all that. I love being a mobile Nerfer, lovely embossed Rival logo, spring action mechanism, accuracy, and a lower velocity than the Helios. Helios is 30 meters per second as opposed to 27. The same picture on the back of this as on the Helios box. Reach load, tactical rail, trigger lock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at this guy. He's going to put a red tag on that in a second and shoot these guys. I know this isn't about the Kronos, but I just noticed something. Warning, face mask is not a protective device. Well, what on earth is it then? Oh, my bad, Hasbro. Of course, it's a bowl for my poppadoms. Or a flower pot. Or maybe a noodle strainer. Not a protective device. What's it for then? I don't know. Oh, I know what it is. It's to make patterns on with your daughter's Play-Doh. You could probably push this all the way through and make some of those Play-Doh worms with it. Of all the blasters I've unboxed, I'm actually really excited about this one. It could change everything. Let's get on with it. I really want to get hold of one of these Rival masks. Where are my scissors? And there it is. In the flesh. In the box we have the Nerf Rival Kronos, the instruction manual, 2 more of these. I absolutely love these. These are brilliant. Squidgy Rival ball of squidge. And the 4 other Rival balls were in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just checking, Hasbro, just checking. I love the look and the feel of this. In terms of size, it kind of reminds me of the size of the Mega Magnus. It's actually pretty much the same size as the Strong Arm. Slightly bigger in some areas than a Hammer Shot, and definitely larger than Rebel Super Stripes or Angel Fire type blasters. Now, these are my current loner blasters of choice, along with single shot blasters such as Night Finders, Fire Strikes. This could all be about to change. Curiously enough, I was just curious, it's going to be slightly smaller overall than a Barricade, bearing in mind that my Barricade's got the front bit taken off. Genuinely excited by this. Got a safety as well. Just imagine the safety works on a similar sort of system to the Nerf Rival Helios, which I took apart in another video. I am just so excited about this. Whoa, man, that spring is hard to prime. And the dry fire feels really chunky. Do you know what? I'm not going to dry fire this because it feels like something would break inside. Right. So, priming the blaster reveals this. Now, this is an internal magazine. I'm just going to see if I can see how this works. So, you put these in there. All right, and then they kind of flow kind of downwards into like a little tube. That's interesting. I'm kind of looking at this now, wondering, would it be possible to... It'd probably be a bit of a silly thing, but you could probably put, like, a mag down here as a mod. I mean, if you were to do that, really you'd end up with just kind of a small Helios. Just going to load up another couple of these. So squeezing in 5 altogether. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. See how these balls are bouncing around after you shoot them. Man, that is absolutely insane. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I am a massive fan of this. I am a humongous fan of this. Now, I don't know what happened there. That was a bit of a pathetic shot. And we're back to normal now. I don't know what happened with that first one. This is simply going to be a short video with me saying, I love the Kronos. I am going to try this with a few aftermarket Rival balls, just to see what it's like. I think there may have been a slight decrease in performance with some of those, but even so, it's still quite respectable. Even the blue ones. What's interesting is this obviously just opens and closes whenever you want it to open and close. You could just leave this open all the time. Top loadable thing here reminds me very much of the Artemis. I love to play with the Artemis without fully closing this. I just leave this open so that during games I can just be cramming these holes with high impact rounds. This is an absolutely phenomenal blaster. Now, the one thing that would concern me is the fact that I end up dry firing it quite a lot because I'm not counting properly how many of the rounds are firing. I guess one thing you could do to mitigate the whole dry firing thing would be to just leave this open and kind of watch and see what's there as you're priming it. Even there, you just get into a rhythm and you just fire and fire and fire. Okay, so if you can get yourself into the habit of bouncing down at the chamber between shots, that's the way to mitigate the dry firing issue. In terms of longevity, this extra dry fire at the end of emptying your 5 Rival rounds is something that I guess I'm going to have to monitor for the future. It's not going to stop me from buying a bunch of these and from trying it out as a Nerf War blaster. I've also noticed there's like a rubber lip up here, and I'm just kind of wondering if that's meant to give the balls some hop up, if it's meant to possibly spin them upwards. Just watching the way those Rival balls behave, I am now thoroughly convinced that this little kind of lip in the front, which you can sort of see, is to put backspin on the balls, make them go straighter. The same as you put backspin on a basketball. I'm having to work really, really hard to pick holes in this. I think this is going to be a fantastic Nerf War blaster. Another thing I'm starting to notice as I'm priming this backwards and forwards, it is starting to rub a little bit on my hands. There are lots of angles and edges that you can catch your hands on right here, so that's something to bear in mind. Look at that one nestled right there. Air restrictor is activated by having the ball actually in the chamber. When I say activated, I guess what I really mean is deactivated. It's actually got quite a tough draw, and the younger Nerfers would struggle to be able to grip it and pull it all the way back. And so younger Nerfers with smaller hands and shorter arms, or just go for it if you want to make some gains. It's also going to be quite difficult to get a small hand around this to pull it back. Interestingly enough, just as I'm priming and firing the Artemis feels easier in some ways to prime than the Kronos, and I think that's because you can get your hand all the way around this bit here, and I think it's just the way your arm works. I think because you've got your biceps kind of pulling in, it's just easier to prime it like that. It's easy enough to load. The loading is really simple. The loading is fantastic. I also love the fact that you're not messing around with a barrel, rotating a barrel at the front. That makes life easier too. Every now and again, I do get a round that kind of dribbles out of the end a little bit. I'm not sure why that is, and I guess in that way it's sort of similar to the way a strong arm behaves if you don't push the darts all the way into the barrels. I love the way that it's top loadable. So my final thoughts on the Rival Kronos are as follows. As a Nerf War blaster, I absolutely love the idea of it. I will definitely be using this in Nerf Wars, and I'll definitely be considering issuing it as a loner blaster. Dead impressed with this, and that's pretty much all I've got to say. Well done, Hasbro. I love it.